with that down, let's move on to this, shall we? The great thing, or in my case, sometimes a real frustrating thing about big comic book movies, particularly the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is that you could actually call the Marvel Cinematic Universe the Marvel Fake Death Cinematic Universe, because nobody's ever really dead, which really takes away a lot of consequences. Case in point, I present to you Thanos, who they kill and then bring back in the same movie. And now Josh Brolin himself is kind of hinting at the idea that they may be bringing Thanos back. And this may surprise you when I tell you, I think it would make total sense for them to do it. Now, what did Josh Brolin say about a Thanos Avengers Doomsday Return? Said this: speaking during a recent appearance on the Happy Sad Confused podcast, Josh Brolin, who played Thanos throughout the MCU, was asked if he would ever come back if the Russo brothers asked him to. While some might have expected him to say no, as a lot of these MCU actors do, remember Robert Downey Jr. kept saying no, and this is what generally people say. It's like, oh no, I love my time, but it's time for me to look to the next chapter. He answered differently. He said, I've said it, Deadpool 2, I'm glad it was one experience. The Thanos thing, if they called me in London right now and said, let's do this, I'd be like, I'll be there tomorrow, said Brolin. Of course, they're going to come up with something really fun. And I mean, who knows? Who knows? That was a 10-year building kind of thing. That was its own kind of book-ended deal. And I don't know what they're going to do, but I'm sure it's going to be interesting. All right. Here's the reason I think everything Josh Brolin just said makes absolute sense, and why I 100%, Rob, believe that we are going to see Josh Brolin and Thanos back again. And it's all because of one panel in a comic book. All because of one single panel. And it's this one. In Secret Wars, there is this jaw-dropping, breathtaking moment in the comic where Dr. Doom, here in white, or God Emperor Doom, Thanos comes face to face with them. And it's just basically doing the Thanos thing. I'm the baddest guy in the prison cell. I'm the man. To which, and I'm paraphrasing here. To which Dr. Doom says, I'm the only one powerful enough to wield the Infinity Stones. I'm the Mad Titan. To which Dr. Doom says, oh, okay, yeah, you got the Infinity Stones on you right now? And Thanos is like, I don't need them. At which point, Dr. Doom, with one punch, punches right into Thanos's midsection and rips out his spine and his skull as the rest of his body just falls to the ground in one shot. It is basically a hyped up, souped up, steroided up moment of we have a Hulk and Hulk coming out and fighting Thanos and Thanos beating down Hulk. It's like, oh my God. It's like in the comics, Rob, they wanted a moment. It's like, so far it's all been didactic. So far, it's all been exposition. Doom's really powerful. Let's show everybody. And what better way than to put the Mad Titan in front of him and literally in one shot just rip out his spine? I have no insider information, okay? Nobody's told me anything. This is just me as a fan, speculating as a fan, okay? But I have zero doubt that this shot, this scene, this frame will 100% not be a moment in Doomsday, although, Rob, that's possible too. Because remember, in the MCU, they have often taken iconic moments from one story run, but dropped it into a different context in the MCU. So it is possible that this shot could indeed happen in Doomsday rather than Secret Wars. It's probably Secret Wars. But Rob, I have zero doubt that Josh Brolin will be back as Thanos, and it will at the latest be in Secret Wars, because we are going to get that shot, and you need to have him there to do that shot. Anyway, Rob, you're hearing Josh Brolin. Do you think he is coyly hinting to everybody, yeah, you can expect me back? Or is he not coming back? And he's like legitimately just saying, theoretically speaking, were the Russo brothers ever to ask me to come back, I would do it. Like, I think this is him kind of doing it with a wink and a nod, but how do you interpret it? And what do you think the chances are?
I wholeheartedly agree with you. I mean, first of all, that panel that you just put up, can you imagine the audience response seeing that in a theater? I mean, come on. And I'm sure that they'll make more of a meal of the scene because you're dealing with the multiverse. There's more Thani spread out across the we only dealt with one. And there's no better way, I mean, from a visual standpoint and just an audience standpoint, in confronting this Thanos and taking him out that way, you immediately plant a flag going, yeah, Thanos was the big bad for 23 movies. Look who's here now who's your God Emperor today? And that's, it works on many different levels. It establishes Doom as a cosmic threat. It establishes Doom as, he doesn't care. Like, even Thanos had morality and ethics. I'm only going to kill half your population. The other half,
and I'm doing it for a good reason.
Yeah,
he would say,
for a cause. I'm bringing balance to the universe. But I look, now that you've put this idea, because I recently reread the whole Secret Wars, both the omnibuses, and I'm now convinced. You've convinced me that we're going to see, if it's not this exact scene, it's going to be something similar. But I can't imagine punching through and pull. It's going to be great. I just want to see that on screen. However, John, I will say one thing. I thought for sure in Avengers Age of Ultron, that one panel from Avengers 22, when the Avengers finally fight their way into Ultron's stronghold and Thor was sitting there beaten and battered with the rest of the Avengers, and Thor said, Ultron, we would have words with thee. And I thought for sure that was going to be in the movie. I thought for sure. And it wasn't. That's my only reservation.
Now, I just want to respond to something quickly here that one of our live viewers in the live chat, just to bust your balls a little bit, Mac the Mad in the live chat saying, well, that's no big deal. Like, Thor easily decapitated him. Easily decapitated him. Thor was able to decapitate Thanos, number one, after he was basically wrecked because he destroyed the Infinity Stones, which destroyed half of his body. He was now a limping, basically, for Thanos, a fragile little version of himself. Oh, and I don't know, Captain Marvel already came flying in and shot him down, and Ruffalo and the Hulk bus, and they were all in there beating on him and holding him in place. And sure, yeah, Thor was able to take his head off then, but that's a very specific set of circumstances I was in. I think to have, because, Rob, we've talked for a while about Doomsday, that Doctor Doom is going to need a moment like, not the exact moment, but a moment like that moment Thanos had in Infinity War, where they need to immediately imprint him on the audience. What's the best way to do that? Have him fight Hulk and have him beat Hulk. So we've thought and speculated a lot about, well, who could that be for Doom? And I mean, really, the answer seems obvious. But that would mean, though, and I want to ask your odds on this. That would mean having that moment happen in Doomsday, just like Thanos' moment with Hulk happened in the first movie. It happened in Infinity War. What do you think the chances are that the Doom Thanos moment, let's assume it's going to happen, because it might not, but just for the sake of the discussion, we're going to assume it is, just for the moment, okay? Let's assume for a minute that moment with Thanos getting killed by Doctor Doom happens. What are the chances you think that happens in Doomsday rather than Secret Wars? What would you put the odds on that at?
I think that's the way you open Secret Wars. You've created, because if you follow the comics, he's going to collapse the universe and create Battle World, and there might only be there might be a Thanos on Battle World or whatever he's done. And it would be like, how do you need a banger? Endgame's opening with the dusting of Hawkeye's family is such a great way to open that movie. And if you leave off Doomsday, where he actually does collapse the multiverse or whatever, leaving us with, oh my God, reality's gone. Where's it going to go? I think that's a great opener for Secret Wars. You know, like you start making a Thanos scene, whether he has the Infinity Stones or not. The audience is like, oh my God, Thanos is back. And then you have Dr. Doom, well, God Emperor Doom now. You know, he's like Gandalf the White come back from after defeating the Balrog, you know, and he comes out of the shadows and Thanos doesn't know who he is. Who are you? You know, I'm Doom. And comes out and wrecks shop and does that panel. I mean, that's the opening of a movie. I think it's probably Secret Wars. Because in Doomsday, it's got to be his story, and he's got to be gathering his power, and there's got to be all this machinations. He's not God Emperor Doom yet. And I think he can only do that. He can only do that to Thanos when he's attained that power.
I agree. I agree that I think the likelihood is that it happens in Secret Wars.
Yeah.
The one reason I would give some credence to the idea of it happening in Doomsday is, again, the point of the Thanos Hulk moment was to imprint this Thanos. Now, we had seen glimpses of Thanos, but we hadn't really seen Thanos in the MCU up until really that point, right? We had these moments, and, you know, in the Guardians movie, he's sitting in his chair talking to Ronan the Accuser. Yeah, that's all fine. But when they really introduced him, they immediately made an impact. He kills Loki, he takes out Thor, and he beats Hulk. And that starts everything, so we have that. So the only bit of logic that I have that if they might do it in Doomsday is, well, if you're introducing him in Doomsday, really, you want to make that impression quickly so that that impression is now made as you're telling the story moving forward. Again, I'm with you. I actually think the higher chances, the smart money, as you would say, is probably on Secret Wars. But because of that one thing, because it's an impression-making moment,
I agree.
They might put it in Doomsday.
But we don't know. The one thing is other than the glimpse we might have already had of him, we don't know who Doom is in the MCU at all. Whereas Thanos,
that's true.
You know, we don't even know. I would imagine, it wouldn't surprise me if Doomsday opens in a flashback 50 years ago or 40 years ago or something, because we don't know. I think the first thing they have to do is explain, why does Doom look just like Tony Stark? Because that's the big question going into it. How are you going to convince an audience that the same guy who played Iron Man in the MCU is also Dr. Doom? They have to surmount that first.
I disagree. I don't think they have to do that first. I think they have to acknowledge the issue first and then let it be a mystery if they wanted to, that they find out the answers to it later or something like that.
I think they have, but what I mean is overall, they've got to explain the character of Doom first, because if he were to come out and he's already God Emperor Doom anywhere in Doomsday, I think that it's too much unless it happens at the end of the movie, because we have to meet him. We have to understand him. We have to watch the machinations of his plot unfold. And so we've got to Doomsday has a lot of heavy lifting to do to get to Secret Wars. And so I think that it's probably, I mean, it might happen. Maybe he turns into God Emperor and that's when he's able to collapse the universes, and that's when he takes out Thanos or whatever. But I think Doomsday has a lot of work to do before we get to that point. That's not saying he can't do it in the whole movie, because maybe it does.
All right, guys. Question is for you. What do you think about this? Josh Brolin obviously saying the door is open for me to come back. And if you know the story of Secret Wars, it's like one of the most iconic moments in that entire story run. I just don't see how Marvel does this story of Doomsday into Secret Wars without that moment, and what an impression it would make. Or maybe you think differently about it. Listen, guys, whatever your thoughts are on this, jump down into the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. Hey guys, thanks so much for watching this video. Make sure you like the video, leave a comment, and subscribe to our channel. And don't forget, we have a daily podcast called the John Campea Show podcast, available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or your favorite podcasting app of choice. Go and subscribe to it today so it'll be there when you need it.